Hello and welcome to the Blessings in the Streets podcast. I am your host, Joseph B. Roberts, and in studio with me this evening are two beautiful women that I've had the pleasure of knowing for more than 20 plus years. They are moms, they are women of God, and they are pretty much my sisters from another mister. I mean, we are just that tight. And they've taken some time out of their busy schedules to jump on the podcast this evening with the opportunity to, in hopes of encouraging, inspiring, and uplifting in the sharing of their stories and the sharing of their journeys with others. So without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Miss Donna Russell and Miss Andrea Bennett. Thank you, ladies, for being on the podcast this evening.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you for having us.
Absolutely, absolutely. We get to catch up a little bit and hear a little bit about your stories that you're going to share. So I know people are going to be blessed tonight by this. But before we jump off into our segments, I do want to give each of you an opportunity to share a little bit about yourselves. Who you are, where you're from. Just give them a little taste of who you are. So I'm going to start with you, Donna. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay. Well, my name is Donna Russell Evans. As Joe mentioned, a mother, a God-fearing woman. Let me start there as well. Um, I have three adult kids and three grand girls, as I call them. And I've been with my company for the last 23 years, a little 23 years. I'm an analyst. And right now, I am just totally enjoying life.
That is awesome to hear. And it's just so crazy to talk about you having three grown children and having grandchildren, because, of course, we've known each other for so long that all the kids were little kids back then. And we weren't
Right.
even thinking about them having kids just yet. So it's just amazing how time flies by and all that has taken place. So it just shocks me anytime I see pictures of them or see status updates and their parents and their adults and all of this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just, I mean, y'all getting old. It's not me. I don't know what it is, but
Thank
it's
you. We
just,
I don't know
appreciate
what you're
it's
that.
just
talking about.
messing me all up. It's just messing me all up. I
I don't
can't
know what
handle
you're
it.
talking about.
So you, Andrea, go ahead and share a little bit about who you are. Give the audience a little bit taste of who you are.
Okay. Well, I'm Andrea Bennett, also known as Michelle. Um, I am a God-fearing woman, a wife of 26 years. I have one adult daughter, and then I have three bonus kids, as I call them. Um, and with those three bonus kids, that makes me have nine bonus grandkids. That always kids are always at my house. And then my sister-in-law who passed away in 2014, her two daughters, I took them under my wings, and they have four kids among themselves. So that's like about 12 kids, 9, 11. It's too many to count. And so I've been on my current job now for 2 years, going on three, and I love it. I'm in the health field, um, and so, and then I've just been enjoying, life, like Donna said, and watching these babies grow up. Like Joe said, our kids was little kids, and now we're all these kids are grown. And so it's just crazy. It's crazy to see it, but yep. So that's me.
Awesome, awesome. And like you said, I mean, I'm just thinking about your daughter and I'm just like, oh my God, I still see
Yeah, she
little,
was in kindergarten.
little
Yeah,
kid,
yeah.
and of course,
She was in kindergarten when we all met up.
right, right. And of course, our daughter didn't even exist yet. She was still a twinkle in my
No.
eye when we first met. So, and now she's, on the road to getting a driver's license soon. So it's just crazy.
Wow,
But it's been
that's
fun.
crazy. Now that's crazy.
I know. But it's like I said, it's been fun. It's been a journey, and it's been an experience. And anytime we come across old photos and memories that pop up on social media and things like that, it just triggers
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of good times and fun and
Good
happiness
times.
that we've
Yeah.
experienced with one another. And like I said, like a family. Of course, the both
Yeah.
of you obviously know. Had the opportunity, the privilege of knowing my mom, and you know how that went. You know, my mom was sort of the mom of everybody, so to
Yeah.
speak. And
She
you
was
know,
our
so
mom, right?
it
She
was
was our
just,
mom.
Right.
that's
Hmm.
just how the way it went, So we've just all been really close knit throughout, and have been each other's lives and milestones and experiences in a variety of different ways. And so that's why what makes this episode so great, because our listening audience is going to get a chance to learn a little bit about you, and some of those things. There are going to be some things that you share that I'm familiar with, and perhaps you're going to surprise me with some things that I didn't know. So it's an opportunity to learn a little bit more about you. So with that said, when we talk about our journeys in life, what we've gone through, what we've experienced, I'm a firm believer in that you really can't fully capture the essence of one's journey unless you go back to the beginning, to
Right.
find out where's the foundational basis of it all. And so that's what we're going to do at this time. So I'm going to jump back to you, Donna. And if you would, I want you to reflect back on your childhood coming up in Indianapolis. Kind of tell us, what was it like for you growing up? Fond memories that you have about growing up, as well as if there was any challenges that come to mind in that process of growing up. You can share that as well. So, but kind of give us that foundational basis of where it all begins for you.
Okay. So I grew up on the east side of Indianapolis. It was my mom and my brother and sister. My dad was there initially, and probably about the age of 11, he was no longer there. But you couldn't tell me that I didn't have the best childhood ever.
Hmm.
Because even though we didn't have a lot, and it was my mom, and it wasn't like, you know, we were just money everywhere. It wasn't dripping,
Hmm.
nothing like that.
Hmm.
But I didn't go without. Um, I never, we never worried about the lights not being on, or, um, just not having a means. But basically, I loved it because I could go outside. I was with my friends, and in my house, I lived in a duplex, and my aunt lived on the side of us. So it was basically like I had a bonus mom, and it was great. Um, we just had so much fun growing up, and I was the youngest. So yes, I was spoiled. I will say it, but it was great. Um, and even like I said, even without the presence of my father, I felt like I wasn't missing out because I still had a father.
That's
Right.
awesome. That's awesome. And I love the fact that you speak to, just the whole concept of community. Many of us, grew up in single parent households, but when you come from our era coming up, it's always, amazing to hear those stories of, like I said, the whole family kind of being around you, and the whole idea of going outside and playing, and doing those things really sounds like very basic, simple things, but these are things that our kids don't do, in this
Right.
day and time. They don't play
Right.
outside like we used to play
And it
outside.
was
They
a
don't they
no.
don't they don't connect like the same way that we used to connect. They're more content being on the
Mm-mm.
cell phones and on the laptops, and not really just enjoying
Playing
just
video
running free.
games.
For us to
Yeah.
be
Right.
stuck in the house was like prison. What do you
It
mean I
was.
can't go
Oh,
outside?
It
You
was.
know,
it was prison.
yeah, and we didn't care if it was
Hate to be
raining,
on
snowing,
punishment.
hot. We didn't care what the weather was. All we needed to be
Right.
reminded of, don't. It was pretty much two basic rules: don't come in and out of my house. Letting out my
Hmm.
air, letting out my heat, and make sure you in the house when them
Hmm.
street lights come on. So
When
Exactly.
them street lights come on,
it was pretty
you
much
better either
I
be
was
in
straightforward.
the
just
house or
about
be
to
in
say
front of the
that.
house.
That was pretty much it. I mean, and figured the only other thing would be, make sure you're not outside in the wrong clothes, because back in the day, you only had three types of clothes. That was play clothes, school,
Right.
school clothes, and church clothes. So
Church
you
clothes.
better not get
Right.
it confused which ones you outside playing
Okay.
in. So
As soon as you
Right.
pretty
come home, you
simple.
better change them clothes. Yeah.
Right, right. So we just made the most of those opportunities and just had lots of fun, and just were creative. Like I said, even when we didn't have a whole lot from a financial means
Right.
standpoint, that community effect of it all, just basically caused us to not even think about it. Like we weren't
Right.
even tripping about or realizing that maybe we really didn't have a whole lot, but because it didn't feel like that. And I think a lot of that has to
Hmm.
do with that love presence in your homes, and things of that nature. So, same question for you, Dre. Think back to childhood coming up, kind of share with us what was it like for you growing up?
Well,
Fond memories. Yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
for me growing up, it was my mother and father, um, who my parents were married all the way up until my mother's death. So my father was always there, my mother, um, and then was my sister. And then I would say about freshman year, um, a family in our church, they lost their mother, and then the grandmother was too old to really take care of the kids. So it was a brother and a sister. It was really four of them, but the two older boys were already in the group home, and so the two younger ones. What happened? My mom and my aunt took the daughter, and we took the boy, and so and as in foster care, they never adopted them, but you know that's my brother. And so that happened. I think I was in high school when that happened. And so, like Donna said, going outside, playing. You got to come in the house when those street lights come on. When that report card comes out, you got an F on there. There's no telephone. There's no going outside. You better be in the house. And so by the time we got home from school, my parents were still at work. So, we had a little time. So we do a little sneak, go outside. And soon we can see when my dad pull up or my mom pull up, we can see them coming. So go out the back door. We ain't supposed to have no company, But it was I had a fun childhood. But our family always got together. Any holidays, birthdays, we always got together. I was always at my grandma's house, and then all the grandkids were there. I'm the oldest of, it's probably like 20 something of us now, but I'm the oldest grandchild. So, but we was always just family. Family is important to me. I like that gathering, and it's important that everybody knows who everybody is in the family, especially your immediate family. And so I miss that part because now that all the older people are gone in the family, we don't do that no more. We don't do too much getting together, but I plan on changing that. But yeah, I had a pretty much, I like Donna said, we didn't have no worries in the world. Both my parents worked. So there was no worries. When cable came out, we was the first people on the street to get cable. So everybody was always at our house, wanting to watch the cable. So yeah, our house was the it house.
There you go.
It was. Everybody was at our house all the time. So, yep. So that
That's awesome.
pretty. Yep.
I love that. I love that. And even in your particular scenario here, you spoke from the standpoint of the two parent household, but yet
Right.
your parents still open up their home to to kids that needed that that
Right.
that parental support. And
Right.
again, that was just kind of a thing back then, that
Right.
even if families were struggling or what have you, if somebody needed a place to stay, somebody needs something to eat, it wasn't unusual to have spots that you can go to or people that would just literally take you in and
Right.
care for you as if they were your own, as if you were their own child. And so we miss that
Yeah.
that community, that support, that family connections. Just the whole. I was just, as you were telling that story, I just think about just how we used to, you think about at the top of the show, I refer to you all as as my sisters. Yeah, we're not
Right.
brothers and sisters by blood, but it was like whatever you were in terms of relationally speaking, that's what we identified with. It was
That's what
like
we
like
identify. Right.
the concept of the play cousins. How many cousins that
Right.
you had that wasn't really your
Right.
cousins, but or your
Right.
brothers or your sisters or whomever, or my second and then my third mama or my second or my third daddy,
Right.
or whatever. That other uncle or that auntie that we claimed, but that wasn't official, but they were
That wasn't
official to
official, but
us,
yeah. Yeah.
relationally speaking. So
Yep, I
that's
got a
good
lot of
stuff.
that. And I got a lot of that, especially church family. See, and that's
Hmm.
the other thing. I grew up in church, so we was always there. So a lot of people in church, I mean, that's my family too. That's what we knew. Sunday, definitely you was going to church. I don't care what you did the night before, but church is where we going. And so, whew, so that's how I grew up. And so with my, and that's where all my family was. We all went to the same church, you know. So we saw each other. And then our church family who, you know, I've got play cousins, like you said, play aunties and stuff. So yeah, that was another important part of life that went on with me.
Yes, that's awesome, and
Yep.
like you said, that church part of it was instrumental as well because again, we all come up in church, and we come from an era where church was not an option. Yeah, it was Sunday
It wasn't an
morning. You was
option.
going. You were not only were you going, you were going to look the part when you went to church. You were going to be
Yep.
suited and booted. You were going
Right.
to have your dresses on. You were going to look
Right.
like you were going
You
to
ain't you
church
ain't putting
today.
no pants on going to
Right.
church.
We're
Right.
not
You
going to throw
ain't
on
you
our
ain't
jeans
wearing
or our
pants to
shorts and our
church.
t-shirt. We going to church,
Nope.
and you better
Nope.
dress right
You
for the
going to church.
Lord.
You got
You're going to
better
church,
dress right.
and you were going to be attentive while
Yes.
you were at church. You didn't get to go to sleep. You didn't get to play no video game at
Nope.
church. You going to pay attention and be
You
alert,
can't do
and
none of
you
that.
you
Nope.
No,
You gonna
I
pay
was
attention
serving.
or you gonna
Look, I
get
was an
popped.
usher at the age of 6. So
see, see, you was already getting
See?
your usher skills in. See,
You was up.
yep. So that's just how it
Yep. If you
was.
don't
But
pay
I
attention,
mean,
you're gonna get that pop.
right,
hmm
pop, pinch, whatever.
Okay.
You a little sleepy, you get here. Take one of these mints. Keep
Okay.
you need whatever you need to
In
do to
the
keep you
plastic bag
going.
with all the other old candy.
Right, right. So that's just how it was. But I mean, but those were good times though, and and all of these years
Yeah.
later, we still remember those things, and in our own way, we've imparted those memories and whatnot to our children in hopes that they will build their own traditions and kind of carry some of those experiences in their adulthood and in their parenting, because it does matter that family, that community, that love and support with one another. So awesome, awesome. So you know, as we move further along in our journeys,
Yep.
you've both, of course, shared what it was like coming up, and as you live long enough, you're going to go through a series of challenges and experiences that you deal with, and but every now and then you're going to be faced with something that hits a little bit different. It's you might be really good at navigating through adversity and challenging times, but every once in a while you get hit with something that you're kind of saying to yourself, man, how am I going to get through this? This is not something that I can write a check to make go away. It's not a phone call I can make to make this go away. I'm totally helpless in this moment, and I don't know how I'm gonna get through it. I'm doubting. I'm concerned. I'm worried. Um, and so I want to kind of speak to that for both of you, and I'll jump back to you, Donna. If you would tell us about a time when you found yourself in a situation like that where you didn't see a way out. You didn't know how you were going to overcome this situation, what you were going to do. Again, obviously, you're here today, so we know that, through God's grace and mercy, you've made it through that thing. But if you would just kind of walk us through what that experience was like for you that you choose to share today, and what was ultimately that breakthrough moment where you saw yourself kind of coming up out of that situation.
okay. Um, so for me, probably goes back about uh, maybe 10, 11 years, probably 11, 12 years, where so I had my first house, and um it was just me and my three kids at the time. Um, things started to go wrong with the house. Um, it became it became so bad that it was either fix this in the house or pay the mortgage. So going back and forth, of course, we needed the items fixed in the house.
Hmm.
Um, I was, you know, worried a lot. um, didn't have the highest income. Yeah, I had a steady job, but I still had three babies to care for and try to keep a roof over their heads. Um, so with that being said, um, it got to a point where I got so far behind. We went through um, the mortgage where they, try to help you out, move payments. We did all of that, but it just wasn't working. And um, it got to the point. I was like, Lord, okay, this is your situation. I don't know what to do. And we came to a point where how people, just buy your homes. Um, so of course they're giving you less, but I just need to get from up under this house because I owe way too much, and it wasn't, I couldn't just, sell it and make money. I just need to get away, and they brought it. They paid what was due on it. I didn't get anything from it. I didn't care. I just needed a way out. Um, Once I sold it to that particular company, my kids and I, we moved into a rental, and it was just like a bird. It just was lifted. I mean, you could see the joy come back into my face. Um, because at the end of the day, I was worried about my kids, and it was just I need a roof over their head. I had family. I could always go to family, but I wanted them to see me being strong during this difficult time. So even though they didn't realize what we were going through, I realized it, and I know that I couldn't have gotten through without God. I'll tell you that. Um, but we made it. we made it. I will say that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And again, well, first off, I appreciate your transparency in sharing that. It's no easy feat to be a homeowner, even when everything is going right. I mean, the responsibilities that come with home ownership, and whether it be financially, whether it be maintenance wise, or what have you. So to be in a home and have small children and all of these things are going on, and like you said, I'm having to choose between, do I fix this or do I pay the mortgage? Fix this or pay the mortgage? That can get very overwhelming, very burdensome. And something that you said, you were trying to be strong. You knew you had family that was there that could possibly help out, or maybe here and there a little bit, but it was important for you to display, your strength as an individual and for your kids. But, and again, this is just my take on it. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in wanting to be strong that we take on more than what we can handle. And so, as a result, God being who he is and wanting us to be dependent upon him, he'll allow certain things to come down our path, not to hurt us. I mean, I don't think that God wanted you to be homeless or
Right.
stressing out or anything. But what he did want is for you to understand that you don't have to carry all the weights and the pressures on your back by yourself. And once you got to that point where you stopped trying to fix everything, and you just said, you know what, this is on you, God.
Right.
I have no answer to this. I have no way. I'm gonna let you work this thing out. When you surrender to that, then it was at that point that he was like, that's all I wanted you to do was, to just lean into me and let me handle it. And so he makes a way for you to get a buyer, to get up from up under the home. He makes a way for you to get a rental. So you didn't have to go through this transition of not having a place to stay,
Right.
and then, like you said, I move into this rental and everything is, is easier for me to manage. I don't have those pressures and that stresses anymore, but it began with you leaning into God and allowing him to navigate that path, to work it all out for you. Because I mean, we can all go through a challenge, a financial challenge or what have you in any given point in time. Nobody's immune from that. I mean, it can happen to anybody, whether they admit it or not. There's a whole bunch of people walking around making it appear like as if everything is good, but they go home every night stressing out about how this bill or that bill is going to get paid, and we may never know it because of the mask that they wear, because they're too prideful or shameful to offer it, to say I'm hurting, I need help. We talked about we've been talking about this all along in the podcast about the importance of community and family. There should never be a time when, if we're truly a family, especially a family of believers, there should never be a time that any of us are going through something and we don't feel comfortable being able to go to that other person, whether it's me coming to you coming to me or whatever, to say, I'm hurting, I need some help or whatever. And knowing that if I have the opportunity to help you, that not only will I help you, but also knowing that I'm not going to be judgmental. I'm not here to criticize and critique about, well, how'd you get in this? You should have been managing things better. You should have. No, I'm in a situation. We supposed to be family. Can
Right.
you help me? And sometimes help you might mean financially. Sometimes help you might just simply mean can you just pray with me? It
Yeah.
might just simply mean, can you just be a listening ear tonight, because I'm so stressed out and I just need to vent. And I just need somebody that I can vent to, and they'll be okay with me venting. They'll give me that comfort, that space to do that in.
Right.
So, so I feel like there was a lesson in all of this. There was a purpose, a reason why you went through what you went through, but it was never meant to harm you or anything like that. And it was about you getting closer to God and leaning into Him. And I think experiences like that has allowed you to build upon that in your relationship with Him as the years have gone on. So now your faith is much stronger. Your walk is much
Mm-hmm.
stronger. You don't stress and worry about things the same way that maybe you used to worry and stress about things, because you're
Mm-hmm.
understanding who's in charge and who has the power, who's the waymaker in it all. So
Right. Right.
that's good. I appreciate you sharing that, because that's a powerful lesson for anybody to learn. That just checking out this episode, we need to know that we were never meant to go through our challenges and our storms by ourselves. Yeah, we're equipped to a point of things that we can do. We're not completely helpless, but we're also not completely invincible either. We don't have every answer to every problem, to every situation. We just don't. So who are we going to go to? What is going to be our option? So I'm glad it worked out in that situation, and I appreciate you sharing that story. Um, Same thing for you, Dre. A time when you found
Ooh.
yourself up against a moment of adversity, didn't know how I
Mm-hmm.
was going to get through this thing. This was way
Mm.
bigger than what I'm accustomed to doing.
Way
But
bigger.
again,
Way bigger.
you're here today to talk about it, so we
Mm-hmm.
know God's been good and navigating you through
Right.
that
All the
situation.
time.
So,
Yeah.
what was that situation
So
like for you, and when did you get that breakthrough moment?
so I'm gonna say it's probably been what, about 14, 15 years ago. I was going through depression at work. Nobody knew that I was going through depression because when you're doing that, when you're around people, your family, nobody, you try to stay like, nothing's going on, but things was going on with me, and it's things that I thought that was going on, but really, now that I look back at it now, it really wasn't that bad. I just I tried to fix a situation without seeking God, and that situation got me in a little trouble. But um, what I realized at that point, that my family really, I just knew everybody was gonna come down, on me, but they knew who I was. My character wasn't that. They knew I had to been going through something big for this, that, for me to do this. And so after I went through my ordeal, my mother passed away in the midst of it. So whew, wait a minute. So it was a lot. It was. But with God, I made it through. And now, as you said, I'm stronger. I don't let stuff bother me. I don't have nothing. I don't have no chips on my shoulder. Um, Bills are getting paid. You know, was able to get another job because in the midst of that, I lost my job, and so yeah, it was a struggle. But like I said, my family came through. My blood family and my other family. Um, Nobody passed judgment. Nobody asked a lot of questions. I was just going through some stuff. And now, like I said, looking back, whew, we made it. It didn't affect my daughter. I was worried about it was going to affect her. It didn't affect her. Um, so it was a lot, but with God. That's all I can say is with God. Without Him, and now I know I can't fix it. It ain't my. Um, that's not my job. My job is to believe in Him. If I'm facing something that I don't think that I pray about it now, and just let Him handle it. And so I just that was just a dark. Nobody knew how dark I was. That dark place I was in. Nobody, because I didn't let it be known until the things happened that I got myself into trouble. Um, And so that's when it all came out. But before then, nobody knew my struggles. It was bad. But um, I'm here today to say, thank God that He didn't leave my side, and He brought me out. And the hard thing was, I lost my mother. in the midst of it. So, and she was only 60 when she passed away. So she was a young age. And so, yeah, it's crazy, but I'm here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, thank you for your transparency and sharing that. But obviously, we know without going into great detail about it,
Hmm.
we of course are familiar with what you're referencing to,
Right.
and all I can say is, but God. God was
Yep.
all over that situation. He was with you. And as you said, just what I guess got through talking about a few moments ago, we didn't know, as you stated, we didn't know what you were
No,
going
nobody
through.
know.
We had
Hmm.
no idea, and
My
you know,
husband,
and,
nobody. My husband didn't even know. Nobody. It was a struggle within myself that I was going through. Just, yeah.
but again, this is one of those situations where, I feel like God was desiring to be closer to you. He wanted your relationship to be tighter, and he knew you were
Hmm.
going through some stuff, and you were
Hmm.
holding it all in. Now, whatever those reasons were that you didn't want to make it known to, whether it be friends, family, whomever, you were just trying to work it all out
Work it
internally.
out.
That's a
Yeah.
lot to ask for anybody. And when you put that kind of weight and pressure on yourself, it's going to cause you to make, decisions, or create
Bad
thoughts in your
decision. Yeah.
mind that aren't going to necessarily be the best.
Hmm.
And that's not a moment to judge you or criticize you. That's just being human,
Yeah.
but again, we serve a God that is, again, so loving, so caring, so desiring to comfort us, especially during our most difficult moments in time. And so, again,
Right.
this was one of those situations where he's on the outside looking in, seeing what you're going through, seeing what you're dealing with, and he had to allow things to play out the way that they did in order to draw you nearer to him. But he didn't let it get so
Mm.
far out of hand to where it would be something that you could never bounce back from, because that
Right.
situation could have gone completely different, and it didn't.
Hmm.
I still remember, and I don't know if you recall, or if I even ever shared it with you, but I remember even during that storm that you were in, you were asking about people speaking to your character. And again, as you
Right.
as you said, we all knew who you were as an individual,
Right.
regardless of the
Right.
decision. And I still remember waiting until the last minute. It kept saying, I'm going to take care of it, I'm going to take care of it. And then here I was trying to get it done the night before. And I remember I thought I had the correct email to send it to,
Right.
and
Right.
and, and it ended up not being the right one. And then I literally looked at this massive list of where I thought it was supposed to go, and through the grace of God, I picked the right place that it was
Hmm.
supposed to go. And I'm not trying to suggest in any way that my doing that was the difference, but I was just so
Right.
thankful that God allowed me, as well as others, have the opportunity to speak to your character on
Right.
your behalf, so that things didn't go, like I said, way crazier
Way
than
crazy.
than what it
Yeah.
could have been. But that was just
Yeah.
God being all in that situation.
Right.
Covering you, loving on you, knowing that, hey, I got a husband who needs me. I got a daughter at that time. Your daughter was, preteen at that time.
Right.
They need me. So we got to fix this. I know I might not made the best move, but they need me, and I need you
Right.
right now to work
Right.
this thing out. And that's
Hmm.
exactly what he did.
And that's what he
And
did. Yeah.
and
Yep.
and in your situation, like you said, yeah, you had a momentary drop off, but look at you. You worked your way through that. You're still on your feet.
Yeah.
You still got a full life ahead of you. Your family is still together. Everything still worked itself out.
Right.
Even with your mom, ultimately passing. I mean, your mom passed the same age as mine did, and
Right.
and that's a whole different story. That's a whole different experience to happen. But I believe, even with what you had to go through, in order to draw you nearer to God, I think that part of that was necessary to just prepare you as
Right.
best as possible for what was going to happen with your mom.
Right.
Because if had you not gone through what you'd already been going through, you might have not been strong enough to be able to process it all. It was
Right.
still
Right.
tough. Don't get me
It
wrong. You're
was
still a
tough.
human
Right.
being. Still tough.
Right.
It's tough to even talk about it, but you're still standing. And
Yep.
that's what
Yep.
God does. He's able to navigate us through those difficult times and be in that covering and protection for us. So, and he's done it for you. He's done it for us, and that's just who he is. So, I'm glad to hear that, and it's good to, while that was a difficult point in your life, it's good to just see how good God has been. and
Right.
navigating you through it. So we're glad that he did just that. And and again, as your family, just like it was, just as the case was back then, and as it is today, no judgment, no anything. It's just nothing but
Nope.
love.
I mean, no, and
Because we
nobody.
all fall short. We all do some
Right.
stuff, whether
Yeah.
people know
No.
about it or whether people don't know about it. We done all slipped up.
Yeah.
Nobody's immune from that. So hey,
Yeah.
it can
But
happen to
no judge.
anybody.
I didn't lose no friends from it. Family. Everybody. Nobody looked at me any different. Even to this day, nobody looked at me any different than back then. So that was
But
just. That was, like I said, that was God all the way through.
that was God. That was nothing but God, and just a reinforcement of who you are as character, integrity, the person that you are. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm still who I am. I'm still one of His, and
Right.
regardless of my flaws and my imperfections. So, which we all have them. No matter how
Right.
much we try to mask them or cover them up, we all do. So,
Right.
again, appreciate you sharing that. So, with that said, when you go through storms, I mean, everybody has a way that they deal with adversity and challenging times, whether it's something major or even if it's just something, just regular, ordinary, annoying type stuff that we have to deal with. So, I'm curious to know from both of you, and I'll start back with you, Donna. What is it that you like to do that kind of helps you work through challenging and difficult times? Like, what is your process? What's your routine or regimen, if you will, that you like to go through that works best for you in dealing with challenging times?
So for me, I began to just do like an inner look at myself, and I start reading devotionals, and uh, a lot of, I don't really want to call them self help books, but there were a lot of books, especially especially during COVID, where I was just I found that I had so much time, and just to read and to kind of look at my journey and say, you know, this is where you were at, but this is where you could be. This is where you're going to be. And so from the devotionals and the readings and ultimately prayer, um, you know, I couldn't imagine not praying, at this point in my life is, it's just so necessary for me to pray, even for patience. That's that's my number one, my number one. I'm trying to reach that goal of patience and realizing that it's not on my time. Um, so I'm trying to not not jump so quickly, I will say, and just sit back and try to think things over. Um, that's my process. Just trying to sit back, relax, and I said, instead of me making my decisions myself, I'm gonna go. I said, let's try, because that's not working for me. That never worked for me in the past when I was just trying to make my own decisions. So now, my thing is I'm gonna pray. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna pray. So, my granddaughter, she tells me when I do when I'm saying my grace with my meals, she says I don't like when Grandma prays. She prays too long. She just prays and prays, and she'll peek up. She's like, she's still praying, and I can hear her as I'm saying it, but
Uh-huh.
she, and I get it, she's 7, but this is where I'm at in my life.
Right.
Right.
She's
So
like,
that's
come
what
on,
I need.
Grandma.
That's
Land the plane, Grandma. Land the plane.
right,
Food's getting cold.
Grandma, we hungry.
right.
The food gonna get cold.
Yeah, and so now she says her own prayer. That's where we're at now.
Awesome.
Yeah, you gonna make our food cold.
Wow, wow. That's good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Same question for you, Dre. When you're dealing with adversity, challenging times, what is your process that you like to go through that works best for you in dealing with those times?
Well, like I said, after I went through my ordeal, nothing really, I just pray all the time. I really, I do a lot of devotional readings to keep me, closer to God. Because without Him, whew, I don't know where I would be, And so I just, um, like I said, I was brought up in church. So that's where that's where I go back to my roots, where I was brought up at. And so I go back and think about where I was, what I'm doing, and where I'm at now. I'm sorry, I got a cold. I'm sorry. And so, you know, and that's what I just do. I just pray about it. If it's something that I know I can't handle, I'm praying about it. I don't worry no more. You know, bills are paid. And everybody's good. Food's in the house. We got a roof over our head, and so that's just basically what I do. Nothing to, even if I'm saying a quick prayer as I'm driving to work. Thank you, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's that. As long as I'm, saying something, giving Him all the praises that's due Him. So that's what I do.
That's great. That's great. And one of the commonalities between what both of you said um, is that I don't get the impression that you're having conversations with God only when you're going through stuff. You're
No.
constantly
Mm-hmm.
thanking Him, praising Him,
Yep.
acknowledging His presence in your life, and that's important for people to understand. Don't just check in with God when something is wrong.
You're wrong. Yep.
It should be a regular everyday thing, whether or not it's a great day or whether it's one of those challenging, working your nerves kind of day.
Mm-hmm.
I got to still talk to God. I got to still speak to Him and let Him know what's going on. Even though we know He knows what's going on with you, He
Right.
still loves to hear it from you. It matters. And so I appreciate that aspect of how you process dealing with adversity, because you're not waiting for the storm to arrive. You're
Mm-mm.
staying in constant preparation for that. So when it does hit, it's not totally throwing you off guard. It's like,
Right.
okay, I'm armored up, if you will.
Right.
I'm
Right.
prepping myself because I know that at some point something's going to happen, and it's not because I'm thinking negative or anything. That's just the reality of life. We all
That's
are
just
going to deal
life.
with storms, and
Yeah.
the storms, they're unannounced. That we don't get.
Right.
It's not like the weather where we can just tune in and find out tomorrow's the chance of rain or anything like that.
Right.
Those storms are different than the life storms. We might wake up tomorrow and get hit with something that we did not see coming, but that's just how
Didn't see it.
life storms hit us. But and we're going to have our initial reaction to it from because we're still human, but we're not
Yep.
allowing ourselves to get stuck there.
Right.
We're not gonna marinate in that. We're gonna have our moment, and then we're gonna go into our regiments, whether it's prayer, whether it's devotion, whether it's meditation, whether it's taking a long walk to just clear our head, whatever that is, so that we can hear God and understand. Okay, God, what you want me to do with this?
Right.
How am I supposed to work with this? How am I supposed to process this? So
Right.
that's good stuff. That's good stuff. So if, and I'm jumping back to you, Donna, if you had a chance to speak to the younger Donna, when you think about reflecting on all your experiences, all your lessons learned, things of that nature, if you had a chance to sit across the table from her and impart in her some words of wisdom, some encouragement, some things that you wish she knew, that you believe it, had she had this guidance, had this advisement, that she would be better suited, better equipped to handle challenging times in life, whether you're speaking to her or maybe perhaps there's a young lady that's going to have an opportunity to listen to this podcast that's in the situations and dealing with circumstances that you used to deal with and have been delivered from. What would be those words of wisdom that you would have to offer?
Well, I probably will start off saying slow down, enjoy life. Um, you know, I tended to make decisions really quickly. I would just jump in, whether it be relationship, or relationship or relationship. uh, I would jump in and I'm all in. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but you also need to realize where you're at, and who you're jumping into that relationship with. Um, I would just slow down and focus more so on me, school, and whether, talking to my old self or talking to somebody else, like you said, focus on you, focus on your relationship, with your family, with the Lord. Know your goals, and stick to them. Don't get so sidetracked. I'm not saying that life is a straight path. We all know it's not, but remember you. Remember you. Mhm.
Love that. Love that. Because basically what you're speaking to is self care, understanding your worth, your value,
Yeah.
taking that time to figure you out.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know what's going on with you, if you don't know what you offer, if you don't know what your worth is, what you bring to the table, what you got going on, what your vision or dreams are, then how is somebody
Hmm.
else supposed to know that? How am I going to be a
Exactly.
healthy contribution to any relationship? Again, whether it's romantically speaking, whether it's work relationships, whether it's relationships with family, with my
Hmm.
children, whatever those relationships are, I got to be in the right space and place, and I got to know who's heading the charge. And you spoke to
Exactly.
that, letting God be the lead in that, in all aspects of every relationship that I'm involved in, and taking the time to take the time. Don't be
Right.
in a big rush to do
Hmm.
everything.
Hmm.
So that's good. That's good. Same question for you, Dre. What you had a chance to speak to the younger Dre, the younger Michelle, to kind of to share
Yeah.
with her,
Hmm.
what you've learned, what you think would be valuable lessons, encouraging words, empowering words of advice, or perhaps somebody that's a young lady again that might be going through some of the stuff that you used to deal with, challenges that you used to have, but you've come up out of that. What would be your words of encouragement to offer?
Well, for me, someone's at the front door. So for me, I'm sorry, someone's at my door. For me though, to speak to my younger self or to young ladies, like Donna said, slow down. If I can think back when I was 21, do things different. Make sure you set some goals for yourself in life. Don't be in a rush to want to be grown. Don't be in a rush. Just take your time, set your goals, keep God first in all things that you do, to make sure He's there. Just like Donna said, I had a lot of relationships before I got married, and I was, living life fast. You don't have to live life fast. Just enjoy it. Enjoy yourself. You're gonna always make a wrong decision here and there, but just think about it before you make the decision. Pray about it. Ask God, is this the right way to go? Or even talk to somebody. If I would have done that more, talk to somebody about situation or about questions or whatever, I think things would have been a little different for me. But don't keep stuff bottled in. Um, you know, it's okay to talk to somebody. You need to talk to somebody, but yeah, just keep God first. Slow down, cause life will be lifing, as they say,
Right, right.
regardless. It's
Love that.
gonna be lifing.
You are so right about that. Both of you gave some great words of advisement, words of encouragement. So again, any ladies that have opportunity to check this out, please take heed of these experiences that have been shared and lessons learned. You got a lot of wisdom on the line today, and these just taking these few little steps can make all the difference in the world, and you being
It
able to
could.
overcome the
Yep.
challenges and difficult times in life, and just making better decisions, and of course keeping God first in the midst of it all.
Right.
So before I let you ladies go for the evening, it's been a great conversation to have with you, sharing your stories. I've truly enjoyed it and been blessed by it, and I know our listeners are going to be blessed as well. But before I let you go, as is customary here on the Blessings and Streets podcast, I want to give an opportunity or take the opportunity, I should say, to celebrate you, to acknowledge you, to love on you. So if you got anything that's going on right now, whether it's any achievements, accolades, upcoming things, exciting news, or what have you, please share that with us. We'd love to again hear about it, as well as celebrate it, keep it lifted in prayer, and just acknowledge it and celebrate you and all that you're doing. So I'll jump back to you, Donna. What's going on with you? Anything exciting we need to hear about, know about? What's
Hmm.
going on?
Well, I just turned 50, so I'm living life.
There we go.
My kids are grown. Yes, I have my grandkids sometimes, but now I'm starting to focus on me again. And so, I'm traveling and I have trips planned, and um, I will say last August, into August, um, I purchased another home. So, things are coming along. And this time I did, I bought the home that I wanted, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought about, because I moved my mom in with me during COVID. So I purchased a home that was mother friendly. And, and so right now, I'm loving life. I will say that. Loving it at 50.
Awesome. I love that. Love that. 50 is an awesome milestone to reach. Welcome to the club. And
Welcome,
welcome to the
welcome, welcome.
club, and
It's gonna go by
yeah,
fast.
it goes by fast. Get very acquainted with Mr. Ache and Mr. Pain and Mr. And Mr. Unknown Ache and Pain that I never felt
Okay.
Right,
before.
right.
You know,
You know you
you're
had
gonna
it.
you're gonna get introduced to several of them. That you've never met before. Now they're just gonna all of a sudden pop up and say, "Hey, I've been here
Pop
Right,
for a
up.
while. I'm just making myself
right.
known. Get used to me. I'm gonna be around a little bit." But in all seriousness, though, I mean that's a great accomplishment, and I'm glad to hear the great news of you getting another home. I mean, again, think back to your story earlier. Here you were at one point in life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I'm gonna keep my home, and here you are,
Right,
a
Mm-hmm.
homeowner again, and the home that you wanted, you got to pick it all out, and life is going
right.
great. You're able to be a blessing to your mom by having your home situated in such a way that she can be with you as well. Because that's of course obviously important, especially as our parents get up in age, and
Yes,
we want to keep a little bit more eye on them and make sure that they're
yes.
good to go. So that's a beautiful thing, and the fact that, like you said, you're making a point to enjoy life and do traveling and see the world and do things of that nature. So those are definitely all of those things I don't take lightly, and we definitely celebrate that and happy for you, and we'll continue to keep you lifted in prayer for much more
Thank you.
success and happiness and joy, and with your
Mm-hmm.
kids and grandkids and everything else that life has to offer. God's not done with you yet. He still has a work to do in you, and as far as I'm concerned, you just entered into the second half of it all. We still got a
Oh, yes, sir.
whole long way to go. So I'm
Okay.
excited for what lies ahead for you. So same thing for you, Dre. What's going on? Any exciting news to
Well,
share? Big happenings?
as I mentioned earlier, in September, I would have been married for 26 years. We've been together 30 somebody years. Long time. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you don't always see that anymore. But yeah, so what else is going on with me? Um, you know, like I said, I've been on my job for 2 years, loving it. Um, I'm 50 something. And so I'm just gonna say I'm knocking on 60's door. It's in the path. I can see it almost. But life, I'm ready to really enjoy life. My daughter's grown. Um, she stays here with us to help take care of my father-in-law. So, because he lives with us, he's 90 something. So she's his caretaker. So, yeah, but we just lifing over here. That's it. I'm ready to travel, Donna. Uh, Me and Donna takes little mini
Get
trips every
ready.
now and then. We take mini trips every now and then. So, but yeah, just lifing. You know, I'm
That's
doing
good.
good. I'm just blessed.
That's
You
good.
know.
Like you said earlier, I mean, just the milestone of marriage with so many marriages failing,
Yeah.
not even seeing 2 years, and you about to hit 26. you know
Right.
uh and anytime you enter into such a union, I mean, it's never easy. It's definitely a
Never.
marathon. But
Okay.
you both are hanging in through the ups and the downs, and and just doing justice to your marriage, and being that example of that it can work.
Yep.
That
Yep.
we don't need to be so quick to just throw in the towel just because it got a little difficult one day, or that
Right.
we were on a different page that one day, because we know that there's those moments where we love one another, but I might not like you too much today,
I don't like them
but
too much.
I
I don't
don't
like
like you
them
too
too
much today,
much.
I'm not
you
feeling
know,
you today.
Yeah,
You
so
know.
like, and then the other thing, my husband, he's a kidney transplant recipient, so it's going on 4 years, I think. But so that was something, we was trying to move into this townhouse that we live in now. So they called the same day we was gonna be moving. So
Mm,
I got through that. But yeah, but he's been doing great.
that's
No
awesome.
complications, no rejections or nothing. Just he just took on the traits of whoever kidney he got. That's all I know. I don't know. I need to do a research and find out whose kidney he got because I think he got some of his traits.
That's a new one for me. I didn't know kidney transplants change one's personality. You say he done
It
picked up the
does.
traits.
He done picked up it's the blood in the blood. It's in the blood.
It's in the
I tell
blood.
him all the
Nothing but
time.
the blood.
Nothing but the blood. That's something about it. But yeah, but no, but everything's great though. Yep. You know.
That's good. That's good. And again,
Yep.
we celebrate that. We celebrate that union. We celebrate the good news in the health department for both of you. I mean, his with his kidney. I know you recently had surgery, and
Hey, I got a new knee.
you got a new
I can
knee, so
go
you ready
now.
to you ready to dance and do splits and everything, huh?
Yeah, I
Backward
can go
flips, all
now.
that.
Yep, I can go now. I'm ready to travel.
There you go.
Hmm.
So Donna, she's ready to travel. She needs to get the
She's
itinerary
ready.
together. She ready.
Well, the first time we gotta do is we gotta still come to Texas.
Yeah, you do. There's a good trip to put on the itinerary. A trip to Texas.
Yes.
That's what we
If you
gotta
Let's
don't
go
want to
go.
now.
drive, you can. I mean, that's a nice little drive. So you can catch a flight, get here in a couple of 2.5, roughly two and a
Yeah,
half
we're
hours.
taking a
Come
Hmm.
get
flight.
you.
We're not driving.
Yeah, we're
We
not
come.
driving. We're not driving. Mhm.
They said we not. I done made that drive a couple of times. It's a long drive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, but that's good stuff though. So glad to hear how God is moving in your lives, and it's great, of course, to just catch up with you, to see you, all of the years that we've known each other. So many experiences, so many good times, and this is just one more to add to the list. So
Mhm.
I thank you so much for taking the time out to be on the podcast, sharing your stories, and just catching up with me.
Mhm.
And just your presence alone is put a smile on my face, and it's always good to see both of you. So, and for my listeners, if you've enjoyed the broadcast this evening, the content that's been shared, please subscribe, please like, please share, please comment, because here at the Blessings in the Streets podcast, this is what it's all about. We want to inspire, we want to encourage, we want to uplift in the sharing of our stories and our journeys, hoping to impact you in some way that perhaps you can take little nuggets and little gems here and there and apply it into your lives and be able to better address and handle the adversities and the storms that come your way. But one thing's for sure that we can definitely say to you is that, make God be the head of your life if he's not already there. That's the relationship of all relationships that you need to have. And if you don't have it, I promise you, if you make that decision, it'll be the best one that you've ever made. You
Right.
won't go wrong. You
Amen.
can't go wrong. He's
Amen.
undefeated. There's no storm too big for him to handle. He loves us unconditionally. He wants nothing but the best for you. So lean into him, rely on him, trust in him, walk in faith and boldness. He has so much for all of us to experience and to do, and to not only experience blessings for ourselves, but to be a blessing to other people. And
Yeah.
so, we don't want to miss out on that. As we've been talking about, life goes by so fast. I can picture in my mind the first time we all met. And here we are,
Right.
fast forwarding, almost fast approaching 25 years soon,
Right.
since we've known each other. So time
Right.
goes by real fast.
Real
And
fast.
we don't want to miss out on what God has in store for us for this time that we have on this side. We know
Right.
what's in store for us on the other side. But while we're here, we still have some works to do, some things to experience and enjoy. And we want to get all that experience, all that abundance of life that he has for us. So with that said, remember, here at the Blessings in the Streets podcast, this is the place where your story is your glory, where your relationships are relevant, and your journey is your joy. I am your host, Joseph B. Roberts. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, you keep fighting that good fight. You keep persevering, keep pushing through. Don't let the storms and the adversities of life get you down. Still be human, still have your normal human reaction to it all, but don't get stuck there. Know that you can lean into God and he will get you through. He is there for you, by your side, thick and thin, no judgment, just wants to love on you and show you the way to do life as he would have for you to do and utilize the gifts that he has placed inside specifically for you to utilize. So with that said, take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you next time. Take care.